straightforward.
So, hello everyone, good evening to all. Just confirm me once that, sir, my voice is audible so that we can start our discussion. Okay, sir, thank you for your response in the chat box. I request those who are watching our sessions videos recorded, I request please try to join the live session 7 to 8 p.m. You may join it on mobile, not an issue, but try to join the live sessions. It will really very helpful for all of you. Okay, so please try to join the live session. Okay. And those who are regularly joining the live session, a special thanks to all of you. Now, sir, all the recordings you will receive by tomorrow early morning. Our team is uploading the same due to certain technical issues. The same has not been uploaded. By today, the same has been uploaded, and by tomorrow morning, you will receive the link. Okay. So now let's start our discussion on the next topics. Okay. So in our last session, we have done the sections related to registration. We have done section number 22. 20 is the limit to take the GST registration, and section number 22 is related to registrations under GST when we need to require the GST registration. Section number 23, free, no need to take the GST registration. We have done the special circumstances in which no requirement to take the GST registration. Sir, comic book, those who have placed the order for our GST comic book, the dispatch will start from 20th of August. So you will receive it by 25th, 26th, 27th of August. Okay. Because you have bought that particular book under pre-launch offer just at 799. Actual price is 1199. Okay. So all the best for a great learning which will be there in our comic book. Okay. And very soon, by tomorrow or by day after tomorrow, we'll launch our pre-launch offer of GST cards as well. Now, sir, section number 24, sure, these are the scenario in which you have to take the GST registration, whatever will your turnover. Section number 25, procedure defined. In this particular section, they have given the procedure to take the GST registration, which we are following in our day-to-day practice. Section number 26, registration fix, that is deemed approval of registration. Section number 27, taking favor of casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person. We have done the complete concept. Section number 28 is very great because providing the opportunity of amendment, that also done. Section number 29, deny, that is cancellation of GST registration. And section number 30 is not very dirty because providing the opportunity for revocation of registration. Okay, now from section number 31 we'll start our discussion right now. Okay, so sir, section number 31, first we'll discuss the concept, then after we'll discuss the memory technique as well. Section 31 is talks from perspective of invoicing. This section says that invoice is required to be generated before movement of goods. That means if you want to move your goods from one place to another place, in that case first there is requirement of invoice. Without invoicing you cannot remove your goods. That is what is the must condition which is required when there will be a movement of goods. Okay, when there will be a title transfer, at that time also you have to generate the invoice. So this particular section is going to talk from the perspective of generation of invoicing. Now many times what will happen, our client is asking that, sir, when we need to generate the invoice, or many times departmental authority is also raising the concern regarding the invoicing, that, sir, you have to generate the invoice but you have not generated the invoice. So at that time our reply should be based on section number 31, and we have to prove that, sir, as there is no movement of goods, hence we have not generated the invoice. As soon as the goods has been go for the moment, we have generated the invoice. That is what is the thing we have to ensure with the reference of section number 31. So the memory technique is, sir, try to link the word section 31 invoicing done, section 31 invoicing done. Section 31 invoicing done. This section talks from the perspective that the invoice should be generated before movement of goods. In case of goods, in case of services, invoice should be generated at the time of supply of service or provision of service within 30 days from that particular time period. You have to generate the invoice. In case of banking company NBFC, 45 days from date of provision of service, we have to generate the invoice. This is the timeline within which we have to generate the invoice. So section number 31 invoicing done. Section number 31 invoicing done. This section talks from the perspective of invoicing under GST. This section is providing the timeline when you have to generate the invoice. Many times if you carry the goods without invoice, in that case departmental authority may raise the concern and say that, sir, you have not generated the invoice and transported the goods. So the notice will include the reference of section number 31. Hence it is mandatorily required that invoice should be generated. Section 31 invoicing done. Section 32, sir, section 32, just try to write the word 32. Section 32 to collection of tax. Section 32 to collection of tax. Section 32, just try to link the word to with to. Section 32 to collection of tax. This section talks from the perspective that you cannot issue the invoice for collecting any unauthorized taxes. That means suppose the person has shown in the invoice the taxable value is 1 lakh rupees, tax at the rate of 18%, 18,000 rupees, but the person is charged tax as 20,000 rupees. So 2,000 will be treated as your unauthorized collection of taxes. So whenever there will be an unauthorized collection, the departmental authority may raise the concern. So we just need to keep in our mind that in invoicing, no unauthorized collection should be there. Okay, these are the sections which is favorable to the departmental authority. Sir, at the end of this sections discussion, will also guide you. These are the sections which is favorable to us. These are the sections which is favorable to departmental authority, so that you can easily decide the things. Okay. So now the point is that this section talks from the perspective that you cannot collect the tax beyond your power, beyond your right. Sir, if you have wrongly collected a tax, in that case, the matter will take care by section number 76, 77. So just give me 2 to 3 days. We'll reach to that section and we'll definitely discuss. Okay. With technique. So section 31, 32. Section number 33 mandatory. Section number 33 mandatory. Section number 33 mandatory. Sir, just try to write the word 33. Section number 33 mandatory. Section number 33. Section number 33 mandatory. This section talks about the mandatory fields on the invoices. I think you all have observed that whenever departmental authority will come with the business audit, departmental audit, at that time, the departmental authority is asking for sample invoices. Am I right, sir? They are asking for the sample invoices which you have generated. Through that sample invoices, they are just going to verify that the mandatory fields which is required on the invoice you have put or not. Like there should be requirement of supplier GSTN, buyer GSTN, supplier address, buyer address, the taxable value, the HSN code, the quantity, the discount amount, and the signature, the tax amount should be there, HSN code. So these are the mandatory fields which should be there on the invoice, which will make that invoice as an authenticate invoice. All the mandatory fields are due to this section number 33. Section 33 mandatory. This section talks from the perspective of mandatory fields on the invoices. So these three sections are there from the perspective of invoicing. Section 31, invoicing done. This section talks from the perspective of that the timeline within which you have to generate the invoice in case of goods, in case of services. Section 32, to collection of tax or unauthorized collection of taxes. Section 33 mandatory, that is the mandatory fields which is required on the invoices. That is what is the thing we have done. Okay, so three sections. This bunch is related to invoicing under GST. Next, sir, section number 34. I request each one of you just write on your notebook 34, 34, 34. Sir, this memory technique is based on visual impact. Okay. So when we are filing our GSTR1 return and uploading the invoices in GSTR1 return, suppose there is a sales return, suppose there is a rate difference, and due to that the taxable value is going to be reduced. So in that case, we are issuing the credit note. Am I right? To reduce the outward supply, we are issuing the credit note. Yes, everyone comment in the chat box. To reduce the outward supply, we are issuing the credit note, and for enhancing the outward supply, we are issuing the debit note. So to reduce the outward supply, we are issuing the credit note. To enhance the outward supply, we are issuing the debit note. And sir, on first look of this section number 34, the number 34, 3 is on lower side, that is reduction. 4 is on higher side, that is enhancement. So whenever there will be a reduction, credit note. Whenever there will be an enhancement, that is debit note. So this section number 34 is related to credit and debit note under GST. This section number 34 is related to credit and debit note under GST. Sir, how is the memory technique? Now, whenever you will look on number 34, you all are able to link it that 3 is on lower side 4 is on higher side, that is credit and debit note under GST. Now point is that what will be use of this particular section? Many time when we are issuing the credit note and reducing the outward supply, at that time departmental authority may raise the concern that, sir, you have reduced your outward supply, you have not generated the credit note in a well manner, or you have enhanced your liability through the debit note. So whenever there will be announcement, no question will be raised by the departmental authority. But in case of reduction, when you are going to reduce your outward supply, definitely departmental authority is going to raise the concern. So from that perspective, we should be very much careful when the departmental authority is going to raise any notice on account of credit or debit note. We must need to take the reference of section number 34. Okay, and automatically it will there in your brain. 3 is on lower side, 4 is on higher side, so credit and debit note related matter, so section 34 will be applicable. Okay, section 35, sir, just try to link the word section 35. Section 35 justify. Section 35 justify. Section 35 justify. This section talks from the perspective the documents which is justified under GST. As we are filing the returns on GST and common portal, we are filing the annual return 9C or multiple compliances. So at the same time, we have to maintain certain documentation as well. We have to maintain the cash book, the bank book, the journal ledger, the purchase register, the sales register, okay, and the items related to balance sheet. So we can say multiple documentation is required to be maintained. Sir, how we can identify that what are the documents which is required under GST? So section number 35 justify. This section talks from the perspective of documentation which is required under GST. So whenever departmental authorities come with the business audit, departmental audit, and they are asking for the books of accounts which you have maintained in your course of business, so at that time we have to provide our response with reference to section number 35, that as per section number 35, these are the documentation, books of accounts which is required to be maintained, and we have maintained the same in electronic form or physical form. Gurmeet sir, if you have issued the credit note and not reduced the outward supply, in that case, that credit note will be treated as financial credit note, and your counterparty, that is the buyer, is not required to reduce the input tax credit. Okay. Only one fundamental is there under GST. If you are paying the output tax, you are eligible to claim the input tax credit. If you are not paying the output tax, you will not be eligible to claim the input tax credit. Okay. In this case, you have already paid the output and you are not going to reduce, so no reversal is required. Okay. So section 35 justify. These are the books of accounts which is required to be justified under GST. Section number 36. Section number 36. Sir, when you are issuing the financial credit note, at that time the matter will be related to financial only. There should not be a specific situation in which you are issuing the trade related credit note and you are not impacting it with GST. That is not permissible. Okay, so if there will be a trade discount, trade credit note, then GST effect should be there. In case of financial, no GST effect, no reversal is required. Sir, in case of invoice, you are issuing the invoice when you are charging the GST. In case of your bill of supply, you are not charging the GST. If you have opted for the composition scheme, in that case, you have to go for bill of supply. You cannot issue the tax invoice. Okay. The same, if your turnover is below the exemption limit, in that case also you cannot issue the tax invoice. Because if you use the term tax invoice, in that case departmental authority may come up with that how you can issue the tax invoice, because no tax has been charged in this particular invoice. Okay. Yes sir, in case of exempted supply also there should be a bill of supply. Sir, no counter credit note. As a supplier, if I am issuing the credit note regarding the reversal of outward supply, then my buyer should accept it by issuing the debit note. Okay. And when the person will issue the debit note, the person will reduce the input tax credit. Yes sir, definitely. If you are issuing the credit note, in that case you have to take the debit note, because the point is that suppose you have issued the credit note and reduced your outward liability and you have not received the debit note, in future departmental authority will ask that, Mr. you have reduced your outward supply, whether your counterparty has reversed the input tax credit. So how you can prove? What document you have? So debit note is required. Gurmeet sir, your query is okay. Ram Shankar sir, is that okay regarding the counter debit and credit note exemption? Sir, in case of discount and the terms has not been decided at the time of supply, or conditions has also not been decided, in that case that discount will be treated as financial discount, and in that case counterparty is not required to reverse the input tax credit. Okay. Sir, debit note will not be uploaded on portal. Okay, debit note is related to sales, then the same will be uploaded on portal, but related to purchase the same cannot be uploaded on portal, because no facility to upload, no GSTR2 is there. Okay, so the credit note which has been approved or uploaded by the supplier, the same has been accepted by the recipient. Is that okay, Rajendran sir? I think all the queries done. Can we move on next section? Section number 36. Sir, Gurmeet sir, that I am saying that in case of discount, if that discount related terms has not been decided, in that case that credit note will be issued without impact of GST, and the counterparty is not required to reduce the input tax credit or reverse the input tax credit. Okay, because discount ke case mein we have two discount. One discount, the term has already been decided, in that case that GST related effect is required. If the terms has not been decided and after the supply you are providing any discount, in that case the credit note will be issued without effect of GST, and buyer is not required to reverse the input tax credit. Now I think, Gurmeet sir, the position is clear. Rajendran sir, this is not possible because buyer cannot upload something. So rate revision related things are completely different. Okay, rate related things are completely different. But yes, if there is an agreed term and you are going for rate difference, in that case, yes, GST related credit and debit note can be issued, not an issue. But if there is a change in rate of GST of that particular goods or services, in that case we have to consider the time of supply, section 12, section 13, section number 14, change in rate of tax. Sir, can we take section 36? Section 36, just look on number 36. So number 36 includes 6. So from this 6 will extract 6-year retention. From section 36, number 36 will just extract 6. So there is requirement of 6-year retention of the books of accounts. So under GST, whatever will be the documentation which you are maintaining, you have to maintain the books of accounts for 6 years from the end of that particular financial year. Okay, suppose for financial year 2022-23, from the due date of annual return filing, you have to maintain for 6 years the books of accounts. Or suppose if there is any dispute, in that case, from the decision of that dispute, you have to maintain 1 year books of accounts. Okay. Yes, sir. 6 years, 72 months. Next, section 37. Sir, may I ask you one question? May I ask you one question? When the GST was introduced in July 2017, at that time, what was the due date to file the GSTR1 return? When the GST was introduced in July 2017, what was the due date to file the GSTR1 return? That is 10th. Okay. And section number 37, 3 plus 7 is equal to 10. And the due date to file the GSTR1 return was 10th. So this section number 37 is related to outward supply. Why I am saying that this section is related to outward supply? Because 3 plus 7 is equal to 10, and 10th was the due date to file the GSTR1 return. And in GSTR1 return, we are uploading or providing the details related to outward supply. So this section number 37, 3 plus 7 is equal to 10, and 10 was the due date to file the GSTR1 return. In GSTR1 return, we are uploading the outward supply. So this section number 37 is related to outward supply. Whenever departmental authority will raise any concern on account of the outward supply, on account of sales which you have made and which you have uploaded on the GST and common portal, the notice will be in section number 37. That means authority will take the reference of section number 37, and this is our responsibility. When we'll prepare the reply, when we'll draft the reply, we have to take the reference of section number 37 definitely. Without that, we are not supposed to take the reference of section 37. Okay, so whenever departmental authority is going to raise any concern on account of outward supply, on account of GSTR1, our reply should always be based on section number 37. Sir, through these memory techniques, what will happen? Whenever you will get a notice from the departmental authority regarding any client, at that time, on first look of the notice, you can easily identify that the matter involves this particular matter, or this particular thing, or this particular issue is there. Yes, sir, 72 months from the due date of annual return for the relevant financial year. And it will really create an impact. Okay, because just take a practical example. When we'll visit any clinic for any treatment. Okay, at that time, when we are showing our issues to the doctor, or when we are showing any prescription or report to the doctor, in that case, if doctor immediately look on that report and provide the issue to us and discuss the matter with us, in that case, we'll thought that this doctor is an experienced doctor, because this doctor on first look understand our problem, our issue. And when our client will receive the notice from the departmental authority, our client will definitely in trouble, which is more than a patient. So when our client is visiting our office, and on first look of our notice, if we can suggest our client that this is the matter, yes, we'll deeply go through with that particular notice, but on first look of that notice, it will identify the matter, and we directly start discussion with our client. In that case, client will thought, it will create a perception in the mind of client that yes, he is experienced, he is intelligent in the field of GST, so that on first look of the notice, he identified the matter. So this will create an impact. And in our profession, your presentation plays a very important role, sir. So section 37. Okay, I think all those sections which we have covered from section number 1 till section number 37, you all are in situation to identify the reason of the section. If I will say that the section number 7, you can easily identify S for 7, S for supply. Section number 15, 1 plus 5 is equal to 6, that is value fixed. Section number 29, deny, that is cancellation of registration. Am I right, sir? Section 33, mandatory, that is mandatory fields on the invoices. So let's take the next section, section number 38. Just try to write the word 38. Section 38, fake. Section 38 fake. Just try to link the word section 38 fake. Section 38 fake. Section 38 fake. Section 38 fake. This section is going to impose multiple conditions to reduce the fake ITC, because we all know that this input tax credit is a benefit. So there may be chances that someone plan to take the undue advantage of this particular type of benefit. So departmental authority or government has imposed certain conditions to claim the input tax credit, or impose certain conditions to reduce the fake input tax credit. And they have mentioned that, sir, if you want to claim the input tax credit, then you have to claim it with reference to GSTR 2B. Without reflection of the invoice in GSTR 2B, you cannot claim the input tax credit. Also, they have mentioned that, sir, your counterparty has paid the taxes, filed the return, and also if you are buying any goods from a newly enrolled taxpayer, in that case, for a limited amount of time, your input tax credit will be restricted. Because there may be chances someone has taken the GST registration, issued the invoices, the same will be reflected in GSTR 2B, but the person has not paid the taxes to the government. So in case of that type of fraud, the government has imposed this specific type of restriction regarding fake ITC. So section 38 fake, that is conditions to reduce the fake ITC. If the input tax credit is reflected in GSTR 2A and not in GSTR 2B, then the point is that your GSTR 2A is dynamic, okay, and your GSTR 2B is static. That is not going to change. Whatever will be the returns which has been filed by 11th of subsequent month, your GSTR 2B will be locked based on that. But if your client has filed the return GSTR 1 by 12th, by 13th, in that case also, your data will be reflected in GSTR 2A, but not in GSTR 2B. That is what is the reason. So in subsequent month, in next month, the data will automatically populated in your GSTR 2B as well. Is that okay, Misra Saab? Section 38 fake, conditions to reduce the fake input tax credit. Section 39. Section 39. Section 39 payment defined. Sir, when we are filing our GSTR 3B return, in our GSTR 3B return, we are declaring the outward supply. We are declaring the input tax credit. After adjustment of outward supply and input tax credit, based on that, we are claiming the amount in our credit ledger, or we are making the payment to the government. Am I right, sir? After adjustment of output and input. Same. While filing the CMP 08 return, in case of composition dealer, we are filing the CMP 08. And in case of CMP 08, we are putting the outward supply and paying a tax at the rate of concessional rate. Okay, at concessional rate. So at that time also we are making the payment of taxes in GSTR 3B and CMP 08. So these two return has been prescribed in this section number 39. This section talks about perspective of payment mechanism under GST. This section say that the person can pay the taxes in GSTR 3B. The person can pay the taxes in CMP 08. The departmental authority has power, that is the commissioner, has power to extend the timeline for filing the return. Whenever there will be a date extension, the date extension will be through the commissioner. And due to this section number 39, payment defined. Okay. This section talks from GSTR 3B and CMP 08 because you are making the payment through section 39 only. Sir, section 40, very interesting section. Section number 40, 4040. First, we'll try to understand this concept through example, and then after, in detail, we'll discuss this section as well. Then sir, we'll also discuss the complete refund filing, practical, theoretical. We'll discuss the proceedings as well in this course. Okay. Section 14. Now I am just going to give you idea that this is the reference of this particular section and this is the technique to memorize the section. Section number 14. Sir, suppose I have applied for GST registration on 20th of April. Departmental authority has granted me the registration. Departmental authority has approved my registration application and granted me the registration on 10th of May. Applied for registration on 20th of April and registration granted on 10th of May. Now point is that from 20th of April till 10th of May, I have made a sales of 5 lakh rupees. In April month, in between 20th of April till 30th of April, in these 10 days, I have made a sales of 5 lakh rupees based on ARN number. Okay, as we have already done the reference of section number 25, procedure defined. We have done that ARN will be generated. So I have made a sales of 5 lakh rupees. Now, as my registration has been granted on 10th of May, so I will not be eligible to file the April month return. So how I can report that 5 lakh rupees sales on GST records? So government has developed a mechanism that if you have made any supply after the registration application but before the registration grant, in that case you can provide this detail in your first return. When you will file your first return on GSTN common portal, in that case you can show the same in your May month return. So sir, memory technique for section number 40, whenever you will look on number 40, your sales was 4 but you have reported only 0. Your sales was 4 but you have reported only 0. Reason being, you were not able to report. So your sales was 4 but you have reported only 0. So report it at the time of your first return. So this section talks from the perspective of first return under GST. Sir, section number 40. As I have applied for GST registration on 20th of April, departmental authority has granted me the registration on 10th of May. From 20th of April till 30th of May, I have made a sales of 5 lakh rupees. So when my registration has been granted on 10th of May, I will not be able to file the April month return. So when I will not be able to file the April month return, so how I can show the sales? So government is saying that you can show that sales in your first return, that is the May month return. So memory technique number 40, 4 was my sales but I have reported only 0, so I may report at the time of my first return. Is that okay, sir? Section number 41. Section 41, ITC claim done. 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 This section talks about the input tax credit. Section 41, ITC claim done. This section talks about the input tax credit. This section says that, sir, if you have bought any goods from a supplier, so you have to make the payment within 180 days from the date of invoice. But if you fail to make the payment within 180 days, in that case, on 181st day, you have to reverse the ITC. You have to reverse the ITC with interest, and when you will make the payment to your supplier, when you will make the payment to your supplier, at that time you can reclaim the ITC. So the second proviso to section 16 subsection 2, which talks about the reversal of input tax credit in case of non-payment to the non-payment to the supplier within 180 days, the same provision is there in section number 41, which talks from the perspective of reclaim of ITC. That if you have made the payment, then you will be eligible to claim the ITC once again. So section 41 ITC claim done, that is reclaim of input tax credit. Section number 42, 43 has been removed by the government. Section number 42, 43 has been removed by the government because now no GSTR1, GSTR2, GSTR3. So no requirement of this section. Section number 44. Sir, just look on number 44. Section number 44, just look on number 44. First four is my books. First four is my books. Second four is my GST records. You can say 1 or 3B. So section 44, first four is my books, another four is my GST records, that is 1 and 3B. And sir, while filing the GSTR 9 return, that is annual return, what we all are doing, we all are trying to reconcile the figures of books and GST records. Okay, we are just trying that the sales which we have reported in our books of account, the same should be reconciled with the GST and common portal. The purchase which is there in our books of accounts, the same should be reconciled with our books of accounts. So we are supposed to equalize the outward and input tax credit while filing the GSTR 9 return, annual return. And here section number 44, first four is book, another four is GST record. So this section number 44 is related to annual return under GST. This section number 44 is related to annual return under GST, that is GSTR 9. Section 45. Sir, 4 plus 5 is equal to 9. Just add 1 from my side, that is GSTR 10. And as we all know, GSTR 10 is related to final return under GST. When the cancellation order has been passed by the departmental authority, after that we have to file one final return on the GST and common portal. So the mandatory requirement of that GSTR 10, that is final return, is due to section number 45. So now onwards, whenever you will look number 45, one concept will be there in your brain. 45, 4 plus 5 is equal to 9. Just add 1 from Sachin side. So 10. And GSTR 10 is related to final return under GST. Yes, sir. Every type of dealer is required. The final return. Yes, sir. In case of ISD also, your annual return is required. In case of composition scheme, GSTR 4 is required to be filed. Section number 46. Sir, as we have done a concept that, sir, the due date to file the GSTR 1 return was 10th. Okay. So this section number 46, 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. And 10 was the due date to file the GSTR 1 return. And if you have not filed your GSTR 1 return by 10th, in this situation, notice will be there regarding return defaulter. So this section number 46, 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. And 10 was the due date to file the GSTR 1 return. If you have not filed it by 10th, in such a scenario, notice will be issued as a return defaulters. Section 47. Sir, as the due date to file the GSTR 1 return was 10th, and if you will file your GSTR 1 return by 11th, in such a scenario, late fees will be there. So section number 47 4 plus 7 is equal to 11, and 10th was the due date to file the GSTR1 return. And if you will file it by 11th, in that case you have to pay late fees as well. So this section is related to late fees on account of delay in filing the return. Section number 48 is not so relevant because this is related to GST practitioners. Okay, so this section is not so relevant for us from practical perspective. Section 49, payment mechanism defined. Section 49, payment mechanism refined. I think while filing the GSTR, while filing the GSTR 3B return, you all have observed that when we are filing the GSTR 3B return, at that time we are declaring the outward supply, we are declaring the input tax credit. If there will be a liability in IGST, then your first IGST liability will be set off from IGST input tax credit, then CGST, then SGST. Your CGST liability will be set off from first IGST, then after CGST, SGST not allowed. Your SGST liability will be first set off from IGST, then SGST, CGST not allowed, and IGST ka ratio you can decide as per your convenient for CGST and SGST. That mechanism we all are following for the set off. Am I right, sir? You all are following this mechanism while filing the GSTR 3B return. So the same mechanism is given under GST due to section number 49, payment mechanism defined. This section is going to define the payment mechanism that you can set off it from credit ledger. Then after, if there is requirement, that you have to pay through the cash ledger. Section number 50, last section for our today's session. Section number 50. Sir, just look on number 50. My liability was 5, but I have paid only 0. So whenever I will pay the balance amount, I have to pay with interest. So when you are filing your GSTR 3B return delayed and tax payable is there, at that time you have to pay the interest as well, and the applicable interest is under section number 50. Now onwards, whenever you will get any notice from the departmental authority and you found the reference of section number 50, directly one concept will be there in your brain. Section 55 was the tax liability, but the taxpayer has paid only 0. So whenever the taxpayer will make the payment, taxpayer has to pay with interest, section 50. Sir, in our today's session, we have started our discussion from section number 31, invoicing done. Section number 32, 2, collection of tax, that is unauthorized collection of tax. Section number 33, mandatory fields on invoices. Section number 34, 3 is on lower side, 4 is on higher side, that is credit and debit note. Section number 35, justify records, which is justified under GST. Section number 36, 6-year retention books of accounts. Section number 37, 3 plus 7 is equal to 10. 10 was due to file the GSTR1 return and outward supply. Section number 38, fake conditions to reduce the fake ITC. Section number 39, payment defined, GSTR 3B, CMP 08. Section number 44 was my sales, but I have reported only 0, so report it in case of your first return. Section number 41, ITC claim done. Section number 42, 43 is not relevant for us. Section number 44, first 4 is related to my books, another 4 is related to my GST records. Both are equalized in case of annual return. Section number 45, 4 plus 5 is equal to 9. Just add 1 from my side. GSTR 10 is related to final return. Section number 46, 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. 10th was the due date to file the GSTR1 return. If you have not filed it by 10th, in that case, return related to return defaulter will be there notice. Section number 47, 4 plus 7 is equal to 11. 10 was the due date to file the GSTR1 return, but if you will file it by 11th, in that case, late fees will be there. Section number 48 is not so relevant. Section number 49, payment mechanism defined. Section number 50, 5 was my liability, but I have paid only 0. Whenever you will pay, you have to pay it with interest at the rate of 18%. All the 20 sections of our today's session is okay for everyone. Sir, I request each one of you, please put in the chat box. You all are getting the points. This session, this course will be helpful for you. We all are going on a right path, right way. If you have any suggestion, any feedbacks about our course, then also most welcome. You can put it. We'll definitely incorporate the same. Not an issue. For section number 49, we have a practical implication. Okay, we have a practical implication as well, because we have not done the practical session. When we'll cover the practical session, at that time we'll discuss how you can cross verify, how you can utilize the input tax credit, what are the things you need to keep in your mind while filing the GSTR 3B, GSTR 1 return, what type of reconciliations are required under GST. That is also we'll discuss. So thank you once again for your suggestions, for your feedback. So last date for making the tax payment is 20th for filing the GSTR 3B return. In case of late filing of GSTR 1, late fees is there. System is not automatically take your late fees, but yes, in case of scrutiny audit assessment, they will demand the late fees. E-invoicing, sir, will definitely discuss the e-invoicing, e-way bill, everything will discuss. So thank you once again for joining the session. Tomorrow we'll meet sharp at 7 p.m. Yes, sir, we have a separate sessions on GST returns. Sir, GSTR 1 late fees will be required at the time of audit assessment. Scrutiny, they will automatically demand. So once again, thank you everyone. We'll meet tomorrow sharp at 7 p.m. So be there sharp at 7 p.m. Thank you once again. Bye-bye. Good night. Take care.